And finally they called them and negotiated something, and I think Dynamite and David were pretty happy with. I remember when Vince got Dynamite and David to actually sign their names on the contract, and once they actually signed it, I was always told that Vince jumped up on the table and did like a dance on the table. He was so happy. But for me and Jim, it was like a lifeline. Like I was like, okay, we can really, for me it was a lifeline. We can go in there and show everybody that we can work. Because I was labeled as a guy that couldn't work. I'd had knee surgery that summer. I started in WWF and I didn't have a good tryout. That match with Dynamite was actually a tryout that I did pretty piss poor in. I didn't do that good of a tryout. I remember telling myself I can hardly walk across the ring, but they was like, just want to see how you work, you know. You let me do it, and I did it the best I could, and I came back, and I remember Vince didn't even look at me. But they had big plans for the Bulldogs, and they almost like threw us together with them just to do something with us. And I remember, like, to me, that was an answered prayer. It's like, now we're going to tear the house down.
It was like a jolt of electricity for the WWF back then, of course WWE now. I mean, it was very exciting because all these guys had a different style. You know, when you see Bret Hart in the ring, when you see Dynamite or Davey Boy, I mean, everything they did was very snappish. You know what I mean? If it was a suplex, bam, it was snappish. If it was anything they did, it was just very, I don't know, it was just something special about the way these guys worked.
To think that you got these guys, 4 guys that came out of Calgary, and these are the 4 top guys in the tag teams in WWF in the history.
Being with the Bulldogs and being with the Harts were just some of the greatest matches that I was ever close to being involved with. And what little part I played on them, you know, I had a ringside, I really probably should have paid the WWF back then for a ringside ticket because I had one every night for these guys.
I can remember, and I wrote about it in my book, I remember wrestling in the Cap Center with the Hart Foundation Bulldogs, and we just tore the house down. We just had one of the greatest matches. Dynamite was so unbelievable, and Davey was in his prime, and we just had such a good match. And I remember coming back and I talking to Terry Funk, and he goes, I've been around a long time. He goes, I'm just telling you this. He goes, that tag match that you and Bulldogs are doing, that is the best tag match in the history of the business, and nobody will ever come close to having better. That is the greatest match I've ever seen in all the years I've been working. And I can't get a better sort of compliment than that from a guy like Terry Funk. But it was true. We were having such good matches, and they were so good and so different than there was no more routines. It was stuff that guys never did before.
They had stepped the game up in New York also, and it kind of put the pressure on the locker room for the other guys that you better get with it because these guys are pretty good.